All right, we're good now. All right, everyone, welcome. I appreciate you guys watching. A bunch of guys here watching right now. I really appreciate you guys' support and you guys, spending a little bit of time here with us. I got Nick. You want to do a quick intro?
Nick with Practically Tactical. Lately, we've been known for making grown men cry so much that their tears actually push keys on their keyboard. So, other than that, I think most of the guys out there hopefully know of us via YouTube or podcast. If not, come by, check us out. We do a show, not to the level of JH6. I mean, trust me, I'm nowhere as good as this guy. This is, I am thrilled to be chatting with a true YouTube operator in JH6. So, I'm honored to be here. I'm hoping that by being on the show, my beard will grow more, and I'll learn a bunch of high-speed moves while I'm here. So I'm looking forward to it.
You're probably gonna lose a bunch of subscribers like you typically do when you join. It's like an automatically -5 or something, right?
-5, yep.
Yeah, but we're supposed to have General Banter here, so he should be coming up hopefully soon, and Brian, hopefully he shows up pretty soon. But check out the description, and you're gonna find Nick channel link. And you're also going to find the other guys' channel link, General Banter and Brian. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to Bush Hunt, Tony. I got the link down in the description box as well. If you want to go and see some videos, like high-tech videos with like a bunch of editing and like a minute video, it takes him like 6 hours to do. Go ahead and subscribe to him. And also the Daily Shooter. Shout out to the Daily Shooter. I got the link in the description box as well. So today we're going to talk about lone wolf attacks. We're going to talk about active shooter. We're going to talk about prepping. We're going to talk about preparedness. And pretty much we're going to talk about anything that you guys want to talk about. I'm going to try to stay on point because typically we get sidetracked with something else. So hopefully we stay on point. But the first thing that we wanted to talk about was the lone wolf attacks, and I did a video a couple of days ago about this, and it's just crazy that we are seeing this type of attacks here in the United States. But again, people don't understand that we have a bunch of crazy people in this country. There's a lot of criminals out there that are just committing crimes, and they're just looking for a reason to continue to commit crime or some type of group that kind of embraced them to commit those crimes. And I mean, the first one that we saw was the one down in Oklahoma, and the guy that stabbed the lady and beheaded the lady. And by the way, the guy who stopped that guy was a good guy with a gun, which people don't talk about that, but it was I think it was a police officer or a reserve officer. And he pretty much stopped that guy. But again, I mean, I don't know what's your thoughts on that. It's just how the media put that out, like it wasn't a terrorist attack first, and they kind of like put it to the side. And I definitely think it was a terrorist attack. I mean, what do you think about that, Nick?
Well, I think this really goes back to like the Fort Hood attack. It wasn't classified as terrorism. It was classified as workplace violence, with a guy carrying a gun shooting people saying Allah Akbar. Which brings me to my next point. There's one connected theme between all of these, and nobody in the media will come out and say it. And I'll come out and say it. People might not like it, but there's a connected theme, and it's Islam. Whether you want to call them Muslim extremists or whatever you want to call it. But there's this reoccurring theme in all of these, and that's it. So you can interpret that how you want it, but that is the reoccurring theme. What you walk away from that is, should you be scared of all of them? No. But I guess for me personally, I wish there was more condemning of this type of stuff. But I think also people need to acknowledge it, and it seems like nobody in the media will acknowledge it. Well, what it is,
And you know what? It's the fact that nowadays, and Man, you just got me, boy. You just got me pumped, man. Like I was, like my blood was like, oof. Like I gotta tell you, man. Like nowadays, and well, first of all, hey, look, you there?
I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay, General Banter's there. You want to do a quick intro?
General Banner channel. Also, Girls Like Guns Too. That's also my channel. All right, that's good. Thanks.
Hey, I tried to watch your your episode you were doing, but my computer wouldn't load. But what I wanted to say is that nowadays it is not cool to say you're Christian. If you say you're a Christian, man, it's like people will attack you, you know. But on the other side, you know, you cannot say anything about Muslims or anything about gays or anything about anything because you automatically are getting attacked. And I give you an example. The lady down in Texas. This lady, she's like the mayor of the city or something, Houston, Texas. I think her name is like Parker. This lady's trying to pass some type of gay discrimination something, which is, you know what, it's so good, man. If you want to do that, it's so good. And if, you know, you have the freedom in this country to do whatever you want. But then you got pastors preaching against that. And obviously Christians believe that a woman and a man were created. You guys get married, and then you do a covenant with God. And you have pastors preaching, hey, you know what, that's not okay. And then she subpoena, I don't know if you heard about this case, but she subpoena all the pastors to provide all the information, all the sermons, everything they're doing, to, you know, subpoena that information so her office could review that. And then people don't really pay attention to this. People are like so into their own words that they don't even care. If the government could do that, and in this case this is a Christian issue, so I kind of get like, all right, man, why are they doing that to pastors? You know, if I'm a pastor, I'm going to preach the word of God, and if you don't like it, that is your problem. But you got people, you know, if the government could tell you, hey, Nick, you know what, I want you to give me your notes, or I want to give you your information before you preach on it, or before you do your show, you're going to do a show with this guy, I want you to give me all the information. That is a straight up an issue with, you know, your freedom of speech. That's violating your rights. But people are not really paying attention to that. All people are paying attention is like, oh, pastors are preaching against gay people, you know, and it's okay to be gay. No, this is more than that. I guess my point is that this is more than that. This is about violating your rights. You know what I'm saying? This is about the government telling you, stopping you from speaking what you want to speak on. I just don't like that, man. You know, but at the same time, it's kind of like, oh, you cannot say anything about Muslims because they will attack you. You know, how dare you to say this and this and that? But Christians are getting judged and are getting attacked every single day. That's pretty much my point. I kind of went into a rant, and I don't even know what I'm saying right now. But my point is that Muslims could do whatever they want, but Christians are getting attacked. And last time I checked, this country was based under God. But if you want to be a Muslim, it's fine. You know, that is up to you. But why can you not say something? You know what I'm saying? Well, why Christians are getting attacked and Muslims is okay for them to do whatever they want? I don't know, man. I don't even know where I'm going with this, bro. You need to help me out there, Nick.
Well, here's the way I look at it is everybody quotes separation of church and state, which, number one, is not in the Constitution. It's actually a letter Jefferson wrote. But let's go off the premise that separation of church and state is in the First Amendment. We'll just say that. So separation of church and state means churches don't interfere or become part of the working government. Governments don't interject and enforce their whatever on churches. Well, then that means it's a two-way road, and that's kind of what freedom of speech is. So, you know, in this aspect of regards, if you're sitting there saying, oh my goodness, we want equality for everybody, except you guys over there talking bad about us, we need to see all your stuff. Freedom of speech is a two-way road, my friend. So it seems like that their hypocrisy in what the laws they're passing is being broken in what they're trying to do. That's just my personal view on it. It's just, I mean, it's an overreach, plain and simple. But the basis that they're using is being broken off of what they're doing.
Yeah. So pretty much, in this case, you have a lady that is trying to pass, or not even a lady, the government is trying to pass some type of regulation, and people, and this is what it is, people are speaking against that. People are not okay with that type of regulation. So some people are saying, you know what, we don't like that, and we're going to collect so many signatures or whatever, and we're going to bring it up to repeal that, which is what, you know, the right thing to do in some type of situation when you don't agree with the situation. And I'm not even talking about Christians. I'm saying about any type of issue. If you don't agree with it and you want to collect some signatures to repeal that, that is your right. So that's exactly what they did. And then, and of course they got called out and they had to like take away the subpoenas. And now what they're doing is that they're saying that, you know, they were too specific. They need to reword the subpoenas. But whatever, man. You know, I don't. You just got to be careful because sometimes we talk about an issue and you think it's none of my business because it's related to Christian pastors. But this is more than that. This is like related to your freedom. This is related to your rights. I mean, if right now it may be a Christian pastors, but in the future it may be something that affect you. And then you're gonna have an issue with that. So this is the kind of issues that gotta be stopped before it even happens. I don't know if that makes sense to me, to you guys, but
You have the right to live your life however you want to live your life, providing you're not infringing upon anyone else's right to live their life how they want to live their life.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's just it. Basic fundamental extremism. Okay, based on extremists, all right, to me is not religion-based as much as it is a twisted ideology, because why? I don't know of any religion that states that basically everyone needs to conform with your way of thinking. That'd be like basically saying, no, JH6, I'm right, and you better think the way I freaking well think, otherwise I'm going to push it on you, and push it on you, and it's almost like basically you consider the government as extremists, really, because they're pushing their ideology on us, you know, regardless of what our rights are, regardless of whether or not it affects us or harms us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing with just about everything else. Look, the pastor wants to be a pastor and preach the word of God. He should be allowed to do that, providing he's not harming anybody. Yep. You know, if people want to flock to his word, they should be allowed to flock to his word.
Exactly.
You know, providing it's not poison, okay, for society. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think it is. Now, when we say we should be able to stop terrorists from potentially leaving our country and going over and joining ISIS, well, I don't think that's really bad of an idea, because in one sense, but in another sense, and riddle me this: if that's their choice, then we should be allowed to do that. But here's the catch: ISIS allegedly, okay, and I say allegedly because we only got what the media is feeding us,
Mm-hmm.
is not doing good things over there. Okay, there are infringing upon people's rights, and they're pushing their ideologies on people. So I guess we should be able to stop people from going over and participating in that.
Mm-hmm. I see what you're saying. I definitely believe, and you know, some people here in the comments to say, I don't believe in the Bible. Well, that is your choice, and that's exactly what I'm saying. We live in a free country where everyone is allowed to have their own belief. You can believe in God, you can believe in whatever you want. We have that freedom here. But when you have a lady that is passing some type of regulation that is going to affect me or it's going to affect us, we have the freedom to say something. Say, you know what? We don't like that. We don't like that. And if we collect enough signature and we bring it to you guys, and the majority rules, then we will have to change that, because the majority, in this case, the government will be kind of like the majority who has more. But that is the point right there, where this lady says, well, because you didn't agree with me, and because you are speaking against me in this situation, because that's what the pastors are doing. They're saying, hey, you know what? We don't agree with that information, what she's trying to pass. So we're gonna tell our guys or our congregation that don't do that. and because you don't agree with me, I'm going to request whatever you're going to speak against me. And then that's where I think it's an issue right there, because we have the right to speak whatever we want. You know what I'm saying? And that's the issue. And in this case, relate to Christians, but take the Christian out of the equation. It could be about anything. Like that's for me to say, you know what, General Banter, I don't agree with what you do on your channel. So because I don't agree with what you do on your channel, I want you to give me the sermons, and I want you to give me your talking points before you even do some type of video. That's what it comes down to. So that's what I'm saying, that we got to be really careful, because this not just have to do with religion or Christianity. This has to do with your freedoms. In this situation that is happening down in Texas. You get what I'm saying? Where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy, man.
There's the one of the faults in democracy is because of the fact is the majority rules. The problem is that the majority doesn't include everybody, and therefore we can definitely trample on someone's freedoms, by just a majority vote, right? I have the freedom to say that, well, I want to marry another man, okay? And if I wanted to marry another man, but the majority votes the same, well, that's going to be illegal. There's a democracy. Democracy worked. We had a vote, and we decided that no, that's not it. But it still trampled on my freedoms to be who I want to be, right? The reality is that if I believe in God or if I don't believe in God, really that statement in itself is redundant. It's a redundant statement. But what's not redundant is the fact is that I have the right to choose what I want to believe. And I have the right to state that fact, regardless if it's redundant or not, providing the statement doesn't harm anyone. And it's not harming anyone. So we should be able to do that. Muslims should be able to practice a religion in our country. That it doesn't matter, providing it doesn't interfere in anyone else's free will to move about on their own or whatever. But
no, you're absolutely right, bro. I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? I definitely agree with that. So if I just don't agree that you know what I'm saying, that the government could tell pastors what to do. You mean to tell me that I have the right to tell you what to do before you do? That's just preventing you to speak. And like I said, it doesn't have to be pastors. I mean, this is what people are reading this news and thinking, oh, this is just Christians. This is just the government telling you that you cannot do a specific thing. Like, before you do this, you need to talk to me so I could make sure that you're not talking against what I'm trying to do. That's exactly what happened in this situation. The Houston, Texas, that lady told the pastors, before you preach on whatever you're going to preach about me, you need to give me all the information to make sure that it's okay with me. And that's not how it works in this country. So you guys in the comments, you guys got to take away, we're talking about the Bible. Let's put that to the side. We're talking about freedom right here. You're talking about being free in this country. We're talking about the government telling people not to speak about a specific issue. So like right now, they could call me on my phone and tell me, you know what, JH6, don't speak about this. Or before you speak about this, you need to provide me the information or your talking points that I got right here on my screen, so I make sure that it's good enough. That's my issue. My issue is not, if you're Muslim and you want to pray to your God, you have that right. We live in a free country. You have that right to pray to whoever you want. My issue is this group telling these people what to do. That's my issue with that. You get what I'm saying? I'm not even talking about Christianity or anything. I'm just talking about that issue where the government tells people what to do. Oh, before you do it, you better get my permission. That's not how a free country works. You should be able to speak your language, and you should be able to say whatever you want. Because like you say, as long as you're not hurting other people, you know what I'm saying? That's where I'm going with that.
Well, that's it. I go back to a quote, and this is your chat, and I understand that, so I apologize for the quote, but it really makes a lot of sense. And it's an extreme point. But if you like to make love to dead skunks in the privacy of your own home, I suggest you should be able to do that. The fact is the skunk is dead. Who cares? But the moment the skunk has a heartbeat, I have a problem with you now. And certainly we should have a problem with you. Okay? And that can be taken on a broad number of things, but that's an extreme point. But it hits the point very well, I think. Providing you're not interfering in anybody else's right to choose what they want to do or whatever the case is, and you're not harming anyone. And again, I think this is where our illusion of a civilized society, and I stand by that, is based on that ideology. However, the government, of course, is saying multiculturalism is our target for taking away people's freedoms or the Constitution because it doesn't fit for everybody. And we can't allow you to speak freely about God on a street corner because that will infringe upon someone else's right because they don't want to hear that because they believe something different. Well, so what? Again, your belief is redundant in the grand scheme of things, but it's very important to you, and you should be able to have the right to speak it. But then someone will say, yeah, but that infringes upon my right to enjoy that free public place because I didn't have to hear it.
I'm gonna give you the example that we dealt with in the military. Now you have the right to say you're gay, and that is up to you. You can say you're gay all you want, but they're forcing some people that don't want. You know, you guys got to think about this. The military, just probably like some of the law enforcement officers and law enforcement groups, it's a place where you don't have the privacy that you have in your house. You may find yourself in a place where you have to shower with a bunch of dudes. You may have to sleep in a place that is so small that you may be shoulder to shoulder with a guy. And some guys are saying, you know what? I don't want to take a shower with this guy. And we have that issue in the military a lot. And we have the issue where some guys were like speaking and say, you know what? Even some of the Christians and spoke about God, but they were told, hey, you can't speak about that. You know, you are violating his rights. Well, I think it goes hand in hand. You're violating the other guy's hand because he could rights because he could speak about whatever he wants. So we got to be careful how we go into that. You know what I'm saying? If you have the right to say, I'm gay, which, by the way, guys, I'm not gay. I'm just saying because that's what I'm saying. If you have the right to say I'm gay, why does this guy don't have the right to talk about God? That's the thing that blows my mind. You know what I'm saying? That's just where I'm going with that.
I don't think you should pester somebody with it. I mean, in the fact that, when I believe full well in Jesus Christ, and that he died for, he died on the cross for my sins. But I don't think that in a work environment, which the military is, and there is a fine here because even when you're in your bunks, you're technically still employed. It's 24/7 kind of thing, right? You can be activated and out of the bed. Well, that's my work environment, and technically, I guess, I shouldn't be able to sit there and preach to the guy. The guy says to me, hey, you know what? I don't believe that, and I really don't want to have to listen to it. And that's my freedom to not have to listen to it, I think. But I shouldn't infringe upon your right to have a little gathering at the other end of the hall with a bunch of like-minded people. You know what I mean? It's not really hurting anybody. Just words being spoken. Even racism. If I don't like a particular race, I should be able to say that as long as it's not damaging to that person or creating hate. I should be able to make a point of it, and not be considered a racist. There's a fine line, and I get that, but again, it's almost like infringing upon your right to free speech. It's now we're curbed on anything we say. Politically correct or whatever the case is. Well, you can't say that. You can't say this. You can't mention that. And you can't have a Christmas tree. You can't. It's like, oh my gosh, really? But this is the answer for multicultural places because we have so many different people all in one place. Now we have to try to accommodate everybody. And now eventually we're going to lose our religions, literally. We're going to lose our self-being because we're trying to conform to what the government has basically put out in place. But hey, you know what? Democracy rules. We voted that political body in place. So the majority of the people must think that. Now, why is that?
By the way, I think you meant to say holiday tree, not Christmas tree.
Yeah, you're right. Thanks.
Bring it back to the other point. You know, don't say Merry Christmas anymore because you may insult someone. So you have to say Happy Holidays. So how can I not have the right to say Merry Christmas? You know what? I'm gonna continue saying Merry Christmas, and I'm gonna say whatever I want because I went to combat 4 times to be able to speak what I want. And people are missing the point. You read the comments, and people are, oh, Christians this. You're missing the point, people in the comments. The fact that you allow the government to tell you something and what to do and how to do is touching your freedoms. And in this case that happened in Texas has to do with Christians. But what's going to happen next time when it's nothing related to Christians and it's something that is going to affect you? You know, you cannot allow the government to say, hey, you know what, Christians, before you preach the word of God, I want to see paperwork to make sure that it doesn't go against what I do. What's going to be next? You know what? Before you leave your house, I want to know where you're going so I can make sure that you make it to that place safe. Before you buy a gun, I want to make sure that you give me all this paperwork to make sure that I'm tracking on you. Before you purchase a house, I want to check all your where are we going to stop at? You know, and that's what we see in the comments, and people see the pastors and see this lady, and people are saying, oh, she's just requesting paperwork, so who cares? It's just Christian. Don't miss the point behind that. It's your freedoms while they're attacking. Other than they're attacking Christian too, but ultimately they are attacking your freedoms. I mean, that's just what I think.
No, I agree with you.
You know?
I mean, you can't escape your own country. They keep track of you. How they do that? Well, people say that, you know what, we were supposed to pay taxes for a very short period of time. In Canada, anyway. It was basically to help fund the war. There's a whole bunch of different ideas like that. But the idea is that they can keep track of you anywhere you go. The idea, the privilege of having a driver's license is also a nice way of keeping track of you. You know, now, of course, they give us all these little cell phones, which is really great. And keep track of us pretty good with those suckers too. So people say, "Oh yes, tracking us. There's a conspiracy theory amongst us." Really? Think about it for a second. I don't know. But you're right about one thing. You know, you can say God bless to me, and in me it's hard to say it back to you because I'm not a follower of God. So, you know, so to me it's almost a slapping you in the face, quite frankly. I mean, for me to say it back to you. But I mean, I wish you well. And so normally I would say, you know, yeah, thanks very much, man. Be well. You know, be well, friend. You know, and just because we don't believe in the same, ideology that way on a religious aspect, or our faith, I still wish you well. You're still a human being. You're still my brother. You know, you're still somebody who is loved in the world. People who depend on you love you. You know, and I don't understand it. I guess I'm more of a humanitarian. You know, and I think that's my.
You know what's funny? I keep reading the comments, and I see why things happen to us because people get blind. Like, oh great, I know the religious chat. We're talking about freedom. We're talking about a person that wants to limit your way to speak, but because in this incident has to do with Christians, you're blind to the situation. You didn't look through that incident and realize that they tried to regulate your freedom of speech. You just saw Christians. And because of that, you are so blind. And by the way, if you want to unsubscribe. I don't care. But, you know, but for that, you are so blind to this that you're not tracking on the fact that this lady requested, the paperwork before they actually speak. And like I said, what's going to be next? Am I going to continue to regulate you? Now this doesn't apply to you. This may be about Christians. But what about if next time it applies to you? What are you going to do next when they tell you, you know what? You cannot buy a gun now because I want you to do this and this and this and this and this paperwork. You know, because you fail to see the beginning of what's going on.
Well, that's exactly
what I'm saying. You continue to think that this incident is about Christian and continue to be blind. But the reality, this is about freedom. This is about you being able to speak. I'm actually trying to speak something for you. It doesn't matter if you believe in the Bible or not. I'm talking about freedom, being able to talk about whatever you want. And that's what's getting regulated here. I mean, that's just my opinion. Maybe I'm missing it. Maybe if I tell you before you speak, for you to provide me with a detailed statement of what you're going to talk about, maybe you get it, that this is about freedom and not about Christianity. This incident, you know, in Texas, Houston, Houston, Texas. Maybe, I don't know.
It's censorship, ladies and gentlemen, right there. This is all this chat's about at this point, as far as I can tell. It's not about God. It's a platform to speak from. It's a good example right at this particular point. And that's what I see as an example of more censorship, taking away your rights. And that's it. That's the important point to be taken from this conversation thus far. And it's a breakdown of it. It's and I don't even know if that's that slow boil like I was talking about over my chat. We are at a raging boil, I would suggest. You know. And yeah, don't get tied up in the comments so much, buddy. I mean, that's just it. You know, people are gonna have their opinions on it, and what I hope that people are taking away is what you're stressing. You know, this is an example of what's being taken away and infringed upon right now. And where is it going to stop? You bring up a very valid point. Where is that going to stop? I suggest it won't. I suggest it's going to keep going and going and going. They're after your guns now, folks. That's protected by your Constitution. Same with freedom of speech. Chipping away, chipping away. It's like an iceberg out in my harbor. You know, the salt water, the salt, you know, that salt water just keeps chipping away at a beautiful iceberg. Well, there's your beautiful Constitution just being chipped away and chipped away. Eventually, that's it. Man, you won't even know what the hell the Constitution used to look like. You know?
Well, here's maybe one way you can put it in perspective. I'd say we're like a sick skunk, and you know what happens to sick skunks when they die?
Yeah. Yeah, I know what happens to sick skunks.
I hope the 5 people out there got that joke. I hope there were 5 people out there that got that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. And I think we're all adults and we understand what you just said. So, yeah, absolutely.
Here's the thing to address this comment. I am the one in control of myself. Got it. I get it. What are you going to do when the government tells you that you're not in control of yourself anymore? What are you going to do when the government tells you that before you do whatever you are in control of yourself, we want you to provide paperwork telling us how you are in control of yourself so we can review it and allow you to be in control of yourself? Are you going to take a stand then? Or you're gonna wait until it gets to that point to take a stand? You see, people only take a stand when it's convenient to them, and that's the problem that we're having right now in this country. Don't take a stand when it's convenience to you. Take a stand when the time is right, when our freedoms are getting taken away from us. Not when it's convenience to you, because trust me, going to Iraq and Afghanistan multiple times, it wasn't convenience to me. As a matter of fact, 12 months without seeing my children was not convenience to me. So take a stand when you have to take a stand, not just when it's convenience to you. Oh, this issue is affecting me right now, so right now I'm going to say something. No, say something when the time is right. When you see somebody's freedom taken away, say something, because you never know when it's going to be your time. And I'm telling you, it's coming. It may not be that day, maybe 6 months from now, but it's coming when it's going to affect you. And then what are you going to say? You know, I should have took a stand 6 months ago when those guys were getting rights were getting violated. I don't know. That's just what I think about that, man.
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Amen.
And if you're planning to go to my channel to convince me of something else, of my religious belief, good luck. I know I get PMs all the time, you know, telling me things. Good luck. I don't do that to you guys, so I don't know what you guys do it to me. But good luck, though.
Oh, that's only because me and you haven't had a chat in detail about that, but I'd convince you. Anyway. Honestly, I wouldn't. I would not have that dialogue with you to try to convince you. If you said, "But I'd like to know what you believe," I'd tell you what I believe. But I would hate to try to convince you of what you believe. quite frankly.
Yeah.
And that's it, because I'd be trying to steal something away from you that you hold of value, and I would never do that to anyone for that matter, not just you, but just anyone. Again, I go back to that thing. And what you do unto others as you want done unto you, and you don't infringe upon people's right to live their life. Man, we only got freaking 80 years, averagely speaking, if we're lucky, and or if we're unlucky, depending on how you want to look at it. But man, if the government wants to come and take your shit, they're gonna take your stuff, boys. It's gonna happen. They are slowly doing it, slowly but surely. That's it, you know. And if you don't, you say, you know what? They're not gonna take this. They're not gonna take that. Well, okay, you'll step out of line, and then they'll take you out. That's how that'll go. And you'll say, well, I stood up and I stood beside my morals and my beliefs, and that's it. And, well, you died an honorable person, and I hope they write that on your stone. But the government is big, bad, and that's just it. And we put them there. The majority puts them there. So maybe we don't put them there. That argument can be put to the test too, I suppose. But
I mean, look at eminent domain laws. They now decide what is better for land. How can that be better used for the better of it? It doesn't matter what's there, who owns it, private or public property. They now decide what's better for everybody else through eminent domain laws.
Mm-hmm.
And look how often they're used.
Yep. Look, you want to talk about laws? Here's an example of laws. And somebody says, I live my own life, and I can't remember the statement that you'd read out there, Jarhead. Shit. I wish I could remember the statement now. Ah, darn it.
I'm in control of myself.
Right, I'm in control of myself. I mean no disrespect to the person who wrote it, but I laugh at that because the fact is that if you just take, okay, the laws that were wrote last year and you compare them to the laws that they extinguished, took off the books, not amended, took out of the books, okay, it would be an eye-opener for you. Okay, they create laws. They put more and more and more laws in place, and I've said this before, and this has been said numerous times. I'm not the creator of this epiphany by any means, but it would take you 2-3 lifetimes if that was your only job, was to sit and understand and learn all of the laws that potentially could govern over your body, your going about in the world. Okay, it would take you 2 lifetimes if that was your only job. Okay, and you would still not get them all and learn them all. It just depends on which agency, entity, whatever is looking at you at that particular time. They come up and infringe upon your rights to do whatever and say, well, we have a law for that. We have a policy, a procedure, a regulation for that. They just keep creating them. We don't own. It's an illusion of this, even the Constitution anymore. People say, I have a constitutional right. No, you don't. And they can take that away in a stroke of a pen. Now, with even something simple as the Patriot Act, or the Global Patriot Act, as is being dubbed now for the UN, that is strategically being put in place to protect us. Maybe, maybe not. You know, so what are we going to do about that? What are we going to do about that? I suggest we can't do it.
Man. Yeah.
Man. I hope 420 Homestead's right. I hope the government collapses and we don't have to worry about that. But what's going to go up in its place? It better be better than what we got now. I hope it is.
Man. People are so evil, man. People would just kill each other. It's just what's going to happen. People will kill each other. 90% of those people are probably not really prepared for this. You see comments in here saying, you know, the war in Afghanistan is this, is that. You know what? You're probably right. I went to Iraq in 2003, and I don't even remember why we went there. You know, we talk about guns or weapons or this or whatever. But the point is that you guys out there, are you actually reading the news? Are you actually educating yourself? Are you actually seeing who's going to go for the next president? Are you actually exercising your right to vote? You're probably not. So if you don't do that, and I hope I'm wrong, you can't speak because you didn't go to vote and you didn't find out who was the best for our leadership to lead this country, and you just let it go. It is so easy just to talk on the phone, type and be like, oh, this is wrong, this is that. But what have you done to make it better? That's just my question. What have you done to make it better? Because, you know, people don't do anything. All they do is talk.
Yeah, but I think this is where I'm going to have to probably disagree with you a little bit, because I agree with the fact that you have the right to vote, and we fought hard to have that right. But the way I look at it, the way I've just sat back and looked at it, I don't think it's going to make a difference. The system that we vote people into is flawed. It is allowed to be flawed. I agree with you. It's allowed to be flawed. You know what, Jarhead? I could sit there and say to you, you got a huge following. Well, let's just say that we've got a community of 5,000 people, and you've got 3,000 people that are on your side. YouTube community, for instance. Okay, you got there, 3,000 subscribers plus. But it's a group of 5,000 people, and you're the front runner to vote in as the leadership for here. But the problem is I'm voting you into a system that is potentially not in the best interest of the people, or even to uphold the Constitution that everybody knows is really what's best for the people. But they seem to be squashing that. And yet you can't do anything about it. Once you get there, all of a sudden the veil opens up and you realize that all these big plans I had, all these campaign promises I was going to make to the people, they're invalid, because there's a bigger picture that we don't see that you have to follow suit with. And if you don't, maybe you'll get assassinated, or maybe you're not going to get in next time, or whatever the case is. And I ask you this because I want somebody to tell me, in the last 100 years of voting, shouldn't we have gotten this perfect by now? Shouldn't we have figured this out? We haven't. It's only gotten progressively worse. How can the majority be that freaking wrong for the last 100 years?
Because people don't care, brother. That's why. People don't care. People are, and I've been saying this, people are so busy in Facebook, Instagram, and trying to accomplish their own agendas that they don't care. I mean, and I'm not saying, when I say people, I'm not saying everyone, of course. I'm saying majority of people. A lot of people don't care. You know, I'm right here telling you that it's a lady trying to take your freedom away, and all you listening is Christians. Christians, this. Oh, the Bible says this, and this is the Bible, and Christian. And all I'm telling you right now, that it's a person that was trying to take your freedoms away. And all you heard, 10 of you guys in the comments, were Christians. You didn't hear the fact that I'm telling you that somebody's trying to take away your freedom. And that's the point. People are not listening. People, they just think about something that they want to get accomplished, and they just stay there. You know, if it's not related to that little bubble that they got right here, I don't care. You know, and I see that all the time. People are not listening. You just educate yourself. You know, speak out of facts, or say something, but be open-minded. Don't just be so close that you're not seeing left and right. You know, sometimes you get so close about something and you're not paying attention. Like I tell people, I do reviews sometimes. Don't just look at a review that I do, because I have my own opinion. My opinion may not be yours. Something that sucks for me may be completely awesome for you. You know, like I did a review today in some Oakley glove that they cost like $70 that I'm gonna send to Tony, and I wanted to do a quick video. And those, they're tactical ninja, kung fu, whatever glove. You know, you wear them in combat, and they're really good. People love them, but I hate them. You know, and that's what I say. I don't like them. So people just, you know, they just, that little bubble, man. If it's not inside the bubble, they don't want to look around. They don't want to look left and right. That's all I'm saying. Just look and see through the crap that we've been getting. Like right now in the news. Man, we get so much information in CNN that we don't even know what's true. I don't believe anything CNN says. Nothing. You know, and that's the thing. You have to be able to see through that. Like I said in this incident, you got to be able to see through that. This is not about Christians. This is about taking your rights away. But you just so into that bubble that you just want to talk about God, that you're not seeing what comes right behind. And then when it happens, then you go like, oh man, I can't believe this happened. You have to pay attention. You have to be open-minded. I mean, that's just what I think.
Well, we kind of hit on this. I think we probably talk about this every time about every subject, because it comes down to.
Wait, sorry, man. Sorry, that's what I just said. I don't get my education in one book. Exactly. That is exactly what I'm saying. I don't just get my education on the Bible. By the way, I got 2 college degrees. and 12 years in the military, where I went to so many anti-terrorist and force protection courses. I got so many courses done that it's just, I think I will have to make a 20-minute video on YouTube, plus college degrees, plus being 33 years old. That's exactly what I'm saying. I just said to be open-minded and look everywhere, and the reply is like, I don't get my information from one book. I'm sorry. Did I not just say be open-minded and look at information everywhere? I'm missing it, brother. But you know what? You and your little bubble. All you want to do right now is talk about what you want. And then when the government comes down and take away your rights, and you won't do anything about it, because guess what? When they come from you, and by the way, I was a police officer, when they come from you, you're not going to make it. You are not going to make it. If you think you got a Remington 700 or you got an AR and your cool pistol, the cops have the same thing and better than yours. And they're going to come with a lot of people, and they're going to take you out. If you fight, they're going to kill you. And we've seen that with the homeless down in New Mexico. And we've seen that with MRAPs. They got MRAPs, combat vehicles, that I rode on. So guess what? You're not going to make it. So you can think you're going to make it all you want, but you're not going to make it. And what? Because why? Because you're just in your little bubble, brother. You don't want to expand yourself to the side and get information from every other sector. All you care is about yourself, and you're not going to make it. That's just my point on it. Go ahead, Nick.
Oh, I was going to say people, we talk about this, no matter what subject we talk about, it always comes down to people don't ever care or get involved or speak up until it directly affects them. It doesn't matter if we talk about war. It doesn't matter if we talk about poverty or laws or this subject. People are so worried about this thing right here, and what's on it, and what's going on around them. We don't even have TV. I got rid of TV because it's crap. It's useless. It's a waste of time. My kids have better things to do, mainly chores, in my opinion, but probably not theirs. But here's the thing, too, is people, again, have to wake up and look around to where, you know what, one day it's censoring churches, but you know what, the next day it's filtering YouTube videos. It's filtering podcasts. It's filtering news. That's
what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. People not listening. Maybe they're going to listen to you right now, Nick. Go ahead.
And it's not like, too, like we're just starting the slippery slope. We've been there. There's been tons of stories about, the Benghazi and the White House pushing on people not to talk about Benghazi. And the one reporter that ended up quitting CBS, they got pressure from her bosses, which came from the White House, about her talking about Benghazi. So don't think like the slippery slope is just starting. We're already on the hill going down. It's just at what rate are we going? And guess what? Unless nobody says, it's easy to stand up and speak when everybody else is. It's hard to stand up and speak when nobody else is. So people got to start, you know what? I might not believe in God. And again, that's not the point of what we're talking about. It's, hey, I believe in their free speech, just like, you know what? The guy on the corner that wants to talk about how there's some other God, you know what? He can do that on the corner. Whatever. He can talk about the skunk God. I don't care. We need to stand up for him alone to preach skunk God as well as whatever God. We need to protect both because, you know what? That is their freedom of speech. That is their right. That is their First Amendment.
Exactly what I'm saying. Well, people are not listening, brother. All right, so, man, you guys getting light up today, dude.
Did you take your blood pressure medication? I gotta make sure. Did you take your blood pressure medication before we came on here?
Man, I love it, dude. I'm just saying, I love it. Bring it on, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm fighting here for you guys to have freedom of speech. That's it. I want you to be able to say whatever you want. But in order for you to say, you know what, I'm in control of myself, or I want to do this, or have your freedom of speech, you have to be able to stand together based on that information. When somebody's getting attacked, you may have to be able to say, you know what, I don't really believe in this, but I may support it just because it's coming towards me. If I don't help these people, it may come towards me. Today it's about this, tomorrow may be about something else, and that's just what we're saying. But people are not listening. We just got to listen. I don't know. Lone wolf attacks, what do you guys think about that? We saw the one in Oklahoma. we saw what? You want to talk about the one down your way there, Luke? Was anything about that going on?
Well, I mean, sorry, Nick.
Oh, I said you've had 2 attacks up there, not just one.
Yeah, 2 days apart from each other. I mean, no doubt about it. Hit and run up this way started in Quebec, Montreal, and then there was 2 days later an attack on a soldier, and then basically attacked, and basically stormed the Parliament buildings. Look, and we can stop them. We can stop them from going over and joining ISIS, or whatever the case is. The reality is that you can't stop the mindset. If they're pushing it through social media, if they've got a contact or talking to somebody, that's it. They'll do it right here on home soil. And that attack, and they've just proven that attack can come from anywhere at any given time. They can reach out and touch not just one person, but they can literally touch the nation. And so that's it. I mean, how do you combat that when it could come from anywhere? And so the government figures, well, we'll combat that by, putting in the Patriot Act, or, not allowing people to travel, without being scrutinized, or, we need to see a copy of what you're going to preach, or whatever the case is, to make sure they have as much control of the people as possible. So some have argued that a lot of these attacks have been allowed to happen because the latest person up here in Canada, his passport was already yanked. Well, if they yanked him because they thought it was a threat by leaving to go and join ISIS, then why didn't they keep watching him here on native soil? So there was obviously a problem there. Now there's a lot of people in Canada saying they allowed that to happen. Why? Because this will be an opportunity for them to take more of our freedoms away. And basically say, for the safety of all Canadians, we need to do this. I said a long, long time ago. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was curious about, and finish what you're saying there, but I was curious about has there been more, anti-gun chat that's come up now because of this, or kind of what has came about after these attacks? Sorry to interrupt you there.
Yeah, there is a couple articles. I think we're going to see a little bit more and more people talking about it. But there was an article in my last chat. I believe it was somebody forwarded the link to me. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Mark from Scouting Free had forwarded the link. It was Mark from Scouting Free had forwarded me the link, and then I wasn't even aware of it. But there is some chatter about it, saying that they're going to take gun regulations maybe a little bit more seriously. Now, we already went through this. We already had a long gun registry. New parliamentary body came into place and squashed it. And so we don't have it any longer. We'll probably go back to that again. And the whole reason I had the chat I had just prior to this one was to talk about that. As Canadians and across the globe, certainly more and more places, are we jumping on a same bandwagon and on a global platform? Is there an agenda taking place that we're really not seeing the big picture on? But if we really looked at it from a 10-year span, we could say, yeah, there's definitely something going on. Instead of looking at it week by week by week and only concentrating on that particular week and what's happening. So, I mean, that's what we're talking about up here. They're going to probably arm the interior security in the parliamentary building and make it a little less easy for someone just to walk in the front doors. Which, you know what? Look, it's a parliamentary buildings. It is a target, and quite frankly, we live in a different age now. So, you know what? We're lovable Canadians. We say sorry a lot, and so on and so forth, and everybody likes Canadians. But come on, this should have been done a long time ago. And it's not because we're trying to divide the people from their parliament. It's not that. It's just taking proper precautions and not being foolish.
It's about money, bro. Money.
Well, and there's another point. Canadian Prepper. I'm not sure how many people are familiar with him, but he's out in Saskatchewan, and he's been uploading a few really great videos lately. And he said that, you know what, he puts out his support for the families and so on, and everyone else who's involved in that terrible event that took place in those 2 days. But is this not just another means, potentially, to take more control over the people and to put more regulations in place, more walls, more barriers, and potentially to put us more in debt? Well, yeah, quite possibly. And again, if this was allowed to happen and they had knowledge of it, God forbid that was the case. I'd hate to think that was the case. But if that was allowed to happen, man, oh man, oh man, it's a way bigger problem. It's just,
But
I don't know.
here's the question for you. Yeah,
Oh my God.
let's say that they found out that they knew about it and did nothing. I mean, look at the way, like, I'm assuming your government probably functioned the way ours was. There'd be a Senate hearing committee, a House hearing committee. They'd make an investigation panel, and they would make a special investigator, and that person would write a report and send it up. And you know what? Nothing happens. Would that be about the same way it would happen for you guys?
Right. No, nothing's going to happen because of articulation. Even if they did find out, it's like when they found out the NSA was actually spying, right? What is the government doing what are they offering these people who work on the NSA to keep their mouth shut? That the Snowden fella decided. Nobody's really ever...
Job security, bro. Job security.
Is that it? So is it a feeling of wanting to... And this brings up another point. Why is ISIS getting all the support? The people who want to leave. Is it a feeling of belonging? Is it a feeling that they feel that they're actually... ISIS is right and just in their cause? You know? Is it a feeling why does a police officer become a police officer? Even if he knows. Why does a police officer stay? Even if he knows it's corrupt? Because of job security?
Yeah.
Is it because, you know what, it's a good job? And right now, there's no freaking jobs. This is a good job. It pays well. There's protection there. I stay clean most of the time. You know what I mean? I can't get fired. Hell, I can't. It's not even the fact is like, geez, you got to shoot somebody before you get fired. Apparently, that's not even the case. So... You know what I mean? It's ultimately job security. Why are they still recruiting soldiers if there's such a push that we don't know why we were over in the Gulf? If the past soldiers are on here saying, you know what? No, it wasn't worth it going over there. We didn't gain anything. You know? It even came out in the thing. There's no weapons of mass destruction. Oops, we made a mistake. They didn't call all the troops back and say, okay, never mind. No, while we're here, let's do something while we're here. You know? Now, that's a Canadian perspective, perhaps, or my perspective, maybe I should say. But that's it. So what's happening? Now, we could say that the attack in Oklahoma was a workplace event. Or we can say that the attack that took place just recently with the hatchet, you know, it was an isolated case. Someone was looking at the ISIS thing, and he wanted to be a somebody. And there was nobody from ISIS even talking to him. He just couldn't get there to join. He didn't know the first thing about joining ISIS, but he was going to go there and hope they got picked up, but he didn't. So he just said, yeah, I like your message. Find anybody you can and kill them. Yeah, okay, good enough. What do I got? Baseball bat. Nah, not messy enough. A hatchet. I got a hatchet. Okay, that'll do the job. Meanwhile, he wasn't really a terrorist per se. He was a freaking lunatic that decided to go off with an idea and just kill some people. So how do we know? But, again, I don't know.
A couple of things here. We always hear, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things bad here in the United States that could be fixed. But this country versus other countries is pretty good. In other countries, because we read here in the comments, oh, this is not a free country. There's countries out there that will put you in jail forever because you made that comment. There's countries out there where they will kill you with no issues, and Afghanistan is one of those. I walked through a city where the Taliban kill everyone. Like, they actually blocked the entire city and they went down the street killing people. Like, we saw plates, cups, like clothes inside the closets, all that stuff. Now, I'm gonna get, before people go crazy into the comments, I don't believe that's a fight. If you've been subscribed to my channel, you know that I don't definitely believe that is our fight, that we should bring our soldiers back here, our troops, and they need to deal with their own issues. But, when we look at this country's pretty free. Now, there's some things that we got to work on, and hopefully you guys get me with that. Maybe you guys are still in that little bubble. But there's some things that we got to work on. But the main thing, like you were saying, is that when it comes down to security, we are not proactive, and that comes down to money. How much money are we going to spend as a government to implement this ways to protect our society? They just don't want to spend the money. And I saw that in the military a lot of times. At one At one point, they're going to take that level of a threat, and they're going to say, you know what, I know that the possibility of this happening could be high, but we're going to take the chance. And that's what they're doing. And we see that with Ebola. I know the possibility of somebody coming into this country with that is kind of high, but we're going to take that chance because we're not going to shut down airplanes coming down because it's going to cost us money. It's all about money, people. They're trying to save money. You know how many times I found in a situation where $1 million could have fixed an issue, but instead of spending that $1 million, the government was like, we're not going to spend that money. We're going to take a chance. And that may be that we're going to lose 1 or 2 guys, but we're going to take the chance because we don't want to spend the money. It's all about money. That's what I got to say about that.
Look at the corporate enterprise. Of course it's about money. You want to find out what's been majorly different in the last 100 years? That'd be the big one right there. Corporate giants are becoming just that, more and more giants. And man, they have a lot of pull. I mean, they have a lot of pull. Look at our food. Look at just even with the jobs and stuff like that. We have industry here, but it's not because the U.S. owns that industry or Canada owns that industry. It's other countries flying a flag of convenience. Man, it's all about money. Every little tiny bit of it. Even what we do have domestic is still all about money. And certainly there should be. Businesses certainly should be allowed to make a profit. That's what business is about. But I think there should be more accountability in how we do things as a business, as a country. And some people have argued with me in the past that countries shouldn't be run like a business. I disagree. No, they should be run like a business. Absolutely. They're not.
What's for the good of the people? Having a country that goes into debt, or it can at least pay its bills and not go into debt?
Well, look, I don't know how I can't run my household like that. To go bankrupt. I lose my kids because I won't be able to feed them. That's it. But again, we all live paycheck to paycheck. Majority of us. I don't know a lot of people who don't live paycheck to paycheck. Okay, we're pretty much in that realm. Most people have a mortgage. Most people have a lease on their vehicle. I don't have any of those things. But that's because I made a conscious choice. Was it hard? Oh, you better believe it was hard. Is it still hard? You better believe it's still hard. Is it paycheck to paycheck? Pretty freaking much. Am I able to put away? A little bit. Not much though. Just not much.
I go back to here. Where is ISIS getting their support from the people? Because the Iraqi government completely messed it up. They abused their people. What they did was that they continued to abuse their people. Based, when I say people, I mean the communities, based on the fact that the Muslims got the Shias versus the Sunnis. The other ones, I forgot what they are right now, and they continue to abuse the people to the point that the people was like, you know what, I'm not going to join you, I'm not going to support you, and I'm going to support this terrorist group because they promise that they're not going to abuse me like you do. And that have happened. And that's why I say that it's not a fight. Look at 2004, Fallujah. So many Marines were lost there. 10 years later, the city's gone to ISIS. After we gave them what? We gave them airplanes, we gave them weapons, we gave them everything. We showed them tactics. I mean, I went out on patrols with those guys, in Afghanistan. And like I said, man, they continue to fight with each other based on religion and continue to mistreat in the community. And now the community, I'm not saying every section of the community, but a lot of sections of the community are welcoming this group to their towns and stuff. And, kicking out the government because what the government did. So, and then, of course, people asking where they get the support. Every time they take over a city, they're picking up guns, trucks, machine guns, money. They're picking up so much stuff that they're just building themselves an army as they push forward.
Yeah, so that's exactly what they're doing. You're right there. And like I said in the comment, I think I left one of your one of your videos, I said just that fact is that you guys basically left with your leadership as well, the courage basically to hold them up, to keep them going in the right direction. The moment you guys left, that was it. You took the leaders with you. You didn't leave nothing behind in far as leadership, and that was what was. I mean, not even so much leadership, but what was the word I'm looking for? Shit. It's basically, you know what? It's like, nah, that ain't gonna work either. Disregard. Anyway, yeah, disregard that. But the leadership, basically, that's it. You know.
I mean, the leadership is any foundation, and we took away the leadership. So what happens? Everything crumbles.
That's it. You know, it's with every, you know, you have to also build a good foundation. You know what I mean, to actually maintain something. And of course, you built that foundation, but again, if you don't have that leadership to basically hold things up and keep it moving in a positive direction and maintain order, you know, that's it. You're not gonna maintain it. And I think they, well, again, I don't think they got it. You know what they actually needed to do. They didn't keep their eye on the prize, so to speak. And
well, you got a group trying to enforce. No, go ahead. Look, sorry, brother.
No, go ahead, sir. I'm done.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's just like we were talking at the beginning. You got a group trying to enforce their belief on a different group. I mean, and I'm not even talking about the Muslims. I'm talking about the Americans going up there to enforce a way of living to those guys, and it's not going to work. They got a different way of living. They got a different way to take care of business. You know, in America, you do something wrong and I do something wrong, or we have a dispute or something, and we go to court and we, you know, pay lawyers or something like that. Typically there, they kill themselves. That's what they're going to do. You got an issue with me, I go into my house and get a machete and I take care of business. That's what they're doing. And you know, they've been doing that for years and years and years, and so many years that is the way of living, and that's what they're teaching the children. So if you think that we're going to go there and in 10 years we're going to change their mind and we're going to change how they conduct business that they've been doing for 1,000 years, it's not going to happen. They have their own culture and they need to take care of their business the way they know how to take care of the business. I mean, now we could give it ideas. That doesn't mean they're not going to take it. That's like talking to your grandpa and you tell, hey, grandpa, do something this way. He's not going to do it. He has his own ways to take care of business already. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's it. Even if it, for instance, over there, I mean, the only way they knew how to do things was the way they were doing things. Whether it was productive or not, I mean, it was just going that way, like you said, for thousands of years. So now you're trying to go over there and teach them the word I was looking for, discipline. So to create a good soldier, you need disciplined people that are going to follow a chain of command, and so on and so forth. If you can't teach them the discipline and also have the drive to see the prize and to want it, to own it, to say, I need that. It's like going on a diet. It's going to take discipline, but it's also going to see the prize at the end and want it. If you don't want it and you can't see it any other way and don't have the discipline to carry it through, it will crumble. You will fail. You know, and that's it. So they didn't have the leadership, the discipline, or anything to that nature, and it was, like I said, it was meant to crumble.
And we're going back to the same point that I was trying to make at the beginning, that 50% of you guys didn't get out there, is the fact that why are they not accomplishing the mission? Why are they not winning? It's because they're fighting. They're not taking orders from, you know, if we are both soldiers and you happen to be a Sunni and I happen to be a Shia, I'm not taking orders from you because you're not in my nomination or my religious belief. And then you see the military breaking into different sections, which the enemy is taking advantage of that. So again, we need to be able to be united on that freedom concept to make sure that freedom is accomplished. And that's what I was trying to make the point. You have to be able to fight for freedom. That's what I was going with that.
Yeah.
I'd also say buy these.
He's such a
And
Glock
what I mean
fanboy.
is
Right?
Glocks and Glocks only, nothing else. Everything else is far and superior. Oh my goodness, you suck if you don't have a Glock. There.
Right. I didn't know they made Glock rifles. Wow, that's a long barrel.
I know.
They'd be the best ever.
I got my Glock someplace.
I had to throw that in there.
You motivate me to get my Glocks off. I got in this little bag. Ooh, Glock. And another Glock. These ones are pretty.
Yeah.
Little fanboy. Fanboy status.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, man. Just to. I love my 17. Just to take a quick break from like going crazy out here. The car CW45, man, that's a sweet pistol, bro. I'm liking it. I'm not. It does have nothing to do with the caliber. I'm just liking the car. The CW series, very very nice and so easy to conceal. Excuse me, but I'm just becoming a car fanboy, if you want to put it that way. But I do remember when Nick had an MMP9, and all he did was talk about the MMP, but apparently he forgot about that. Now he's a Glock fanboy.
I can make the argument that my MP is the most important handgun because that is my that's my night gun. That's next to my bedside.
Yeah, sure. I'm still thinking. I don't know. My next gun is gonna be an MMP. I got the MMP shield, but I don't have the full MMP.
So you just bragged on me.
I want to know what
MMP and talking about it, and then you immediately follow it up by saying that you were gonna buy one.
I've been talking about being open mind, so I'm gonna buy me an MMP to see what you guys talking about.
Well, I am not gonna buy a car, so I'm not open minded.
You're missing out, man. You're missing out. You're missing out. CW now. I actually went to get the CW 380 because I wanted to have a pocket gun so I could put it in my shorts or whatever. And I walked out with CW 45. I don't know how that happened, but it happens. I actually went to buy an AR Oper like 2-3 times, and I walked out with a gun instead of the Oper. So I'm famous for that.
Hey, man, I can do that.
MMP shield, 40 caliber, definitely good. Definitely, I love my MMP shield. What's up?
Pretty though. You have a 9 though, right?
Which one?
Talking to me?
Shield. No, him. I was talking to you that he interrupted by saying something.
Oh, go ahead then.
He's clueless.
Sorry, bro. What you say?
Because we were actually talking about this before you got here, before the show, because we were talking about. Oh no, I wasn't even talking to him about it. I was talking to somebody else. What is the handgun that is issued to police up there? It's a Smith & Wesson. It's like a double action only version of the 5906. Do you know what's issued up there? Because we were talking about the handgun that was used by the guy in the Parliament. Do you know offhand what that was?
Oh, sugar. No, I don't know offhand what he had. It would have been. I don't even know whether or not it was issued. I'm assuming it must be issued to him. He's a retired RCMP. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, provincial officers, for instance, in Ontario, for instance, they carry SIGs. Most city police services in Ontario carry Glocks. It just depends, right? So most services have their issued weapon, and it's standard across the board. Before that it was Berettas. Like I said, so I don't know what he had, to be honest with you.
Okay, I read something he had like a double action only version. It's like the old Smith & Wesson 5906, but it's the double action only version. I could be wrong. I tried to find it again, and I couldn't find where I found the link. But I was curious if you knew that. You don't have to look it up. I just was curious if you knew it off the top of your head.
No, I'm really curious too.
Did they make the MMP shield in 10 mil?
No.
I told somebody say that. I was like, what? Somebody say like the Glock 36. I will go for the Glock 30S. I think it has the same frame, something like the same frame of a Glock 30 with the slide of the Glock 36, something like that, which makes it very slim, and you could carry like 10 plus 1 or something.
Has a longer
something like that, Nick? Help me out.
It has a longer slide with a short frame.
So how different is it from the Glock 36?
Oh, I don't remember off the top of my head. I don't know. I mean, I carry a friggin' long slide 34 every day, so.
That's just ridiculous,
you know, I just like to carry bigger than most guys, but that's every day now, so.
9mm is all I'm finding so far.
Okay. I was curious. By the way, for all you Glock guys out there, if there's listening, there is a company that came out with an adjustable Glock trigger. They originally called themselves Glock Made, but now they're going. They had to change their name to like OC. What do they call it? OC triggers, something like that. It's a $35 adjustable Glock trigger. You can get it in different colors, as you see there. The trigger safety's in red. It's $35. It's not a ZevTech Fulcrum trigger, but it's pretty darn good for $35. I was gonna throw that out there to all those guys out there might be watching.
What do you do? Like it makes it lighter or something?
So like basically, as we see there, it's unloaded. So basically, when I actuate the trigger safety, I'm at my wall. So there's no take up, there's no play. So I'm at my wall, and that's how much it breaks right there. So basically,
wow.
It takes up, it just shortens up your trigger. In this one, I've got the ZevTech Z4 race connector, the competition spring kit. So I have a great 3-pound trigger in this gun for under $50. So for all those out there that might be interested. And that's what I carry every day at work. Anything new in the comments there?
I don't know. I'm just reading, but yeah. I don't know, man. I'm still kind of iffy when it comes down to modifying your gun, just because self-defense or something like that. I heard so many stories about if you actually shoot a person and they take your gun into evidence and they may try to mess with you because you modified the trigger. I mean, I don't know how true is that, but I'm kind of iffy when it comes to like my carry gun, if that make any sense.
Yeah, well, here's how I do it is, number one, if I use this gun when I'm not supposed to, it's not going to matter what I've done to it.
Yeah.
But I could put the worst trigger in it, and if you shoot in a no-shoot situation, you're in trouble anyways. If there is questionable enough stuff to where they're looking at what is in my gun as to try to find ways to make me guilty, then guess what? It was a probably no-shoot situation anyways. So that is how I look at it. Again, there needs to be several other steps before you use this. Again, if you treat every problem, if you only carry a hammer, then every problem looks like a nail.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's the way that I look at that.
When it comes to Glocks, I'm the only thing that I want to do is the sight.
Also, I work in a gun shop, so having this is an easy way to sell guns. So. Wow, I found it. Smith 59.
Here's another topic that I got. Cause,
Hold on. What did you find?
Smith & Wesson 5946.
what is that again?
It's the sidearm of the RCMP.
Huh.
Okay. Interesting. Somebody was asking me whether or not what we carry back there on duty, and I like the recent posting, I guess, is what I'll suggest anyway. Glock 22s, 40 Smith & Wesson. That's what we were carrying. So just to let you know.
The next
I think it was 420. Huh?
The next dead caliber, 40 Smith & Wesson.
I don't like 40, man.
It's
Oh,
FBI is going back to 9mm, so that thus all police departments are going to do the same as the FBI. So who's going to be the major demand of 40 Smith & Wesson?
I don't know. I don't see the point with me carrying less round. With the 9mm nowadays, we take care of business.
Yep.
I just don't see it. You know what I'm saying? You're telling me that I could carry 17 plus 1 versus in my Glock 17 versus probably what 15 plus 1 in a 40. So I just don't see it. But it is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? People, it's all preference, man. We go back to freedom, man. If you like the 40 and you want to carry the 40, it's so good for me, man. Carry the 40, man. Just carry a gun. You know, that's what I tell people. Carry a gun. You know.
yeah.
So, but let's see. Okay, so we got. I guess we talk about ISIS enough. We've been talking about a bunch of things. Active shooter situation. We saw that active shooter happening down in where was it again? It's Washington State.
Oh, the school, yeah. Washington.
Yeah. Man, again, bro, you know, it happens all the time, man. And I don't know, what is you guys take on that, Nick? What's your take on it?
For the love of God, stop making gun-free zones. That is just an advertisement for somebody to come in and shoot people. I don't know. God,
It's true. It's so true.
It's literally the definition of insanity. Wait, all these shootings are happening in gun-free zones. We need more gun-free zones. It literally makes my brain hurt. That I'm fortunate. My kids don't go to a gun-free school, so that I'm happy about. And I'm actually fairly certain one of our teacher packs, which I'm even more happy with. It's one of those. It's just an advertisement. When you put that out there, it's just an advertisement for. Nobody's pretty much going to stop you. And let's be honest, how many school shootings have been stopped by another shooter? I can only think of one of actually a person putting down that other person. Now, granted, they've all been stopped when people who with guns show up, and then those people are put back into reality and then shoot themselves. You know, I mean, the only way that it's been stopped is with people with guns, pretty much literally. I don't know. God, stop putting up gun-free zones. It's absolutely ridiculous. It literally makes my brain hurt.
Doesn't make a lot of sense.
What do you think, Luke?
No, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, making a gun-free zone, like, he's exactly right. It's an advertisement to say, hit this place. Because now the probability of me being stopped or getting away with the robbery or carrying out whatever act I wanted to is a lot higher. But like he's just said too, it's more probable the individual is going into creating an active shooting scenario, ends up taking his own life. That seems to be the case in most cases. Now, except of course on Parliament Hill, it took one individual just happened to be carrying, in the workplace, and that was because that was part of his job. But everybody else, security-wise, they don't carry. If you look at the videos, if you go back and look at any of the videos of the active shooting and everything leading up, you'll see the guys in the blue shirts, right, which I think are special constables. They have a baton, pepper spray, and they don't even have tasers, right, and handcuffs, and arrest authority, peace officer status. So they can arrest like a police officer and so on, but they don't have a firearm. And that's one of the sad things about Canada. You don't find security guards even having firearms up in Canada. Now anything that, of course, in the fact that it makes you a target, Brinks, you know what I mean, Armored Car Service, they have them. But the reality is that you're placed there for protecting. So they say, well, we don't want to give them a gun because there'd be a problem. Teach them the safety aspect of it. You know what I mean? Judgment training. And then I think everybody else, if you want to carry a firearm, that's the very first thing. Is like, it's not enough to go and get a license, carry permit, got my gun, great. Go to the range, plink, plink, plink. No, it's not enough to do that. You really need to go and get some more judgment training, because that's just it. I think you should carry, yes, for sure. But, man, if there's the probability, it's a very small probability. I can promise you people, it's a very small probability you are ever going to have to engage somebody with your sidearm. I don't care where you are. It's a very small probability.
Mm-hmm.
But we carry because it's not an impossibility. It's not an impossibility. It's a probability. So we must prepare for that day as though it is 100% probability. Because, like I said, I'm not saying you lose sleep over this shit.
It's going to happen. No matter how much training you have, no matter how many guns you have, no matter what happened, I mean, you may die. The possibilities of you dying, they're high. I mean, we see military guys that train for 15 years have top-of-the-line guns, and they go to combat and they die, or they get killed here in the United States. So, but with that being said, it's not like you're gonna let them take your life. Like, it just blows my mind how some people are willing to allow some kid to kill you because you don't want to carry a gun, and you're willing to go to the mall and not have that protection of protecting your family. You know, you're willing to allow some kid like the one in California or whatever that couldn't find a girlfriend or something and kill people. Like, you know, you guys out there, a lot of you guys have to take that stand and say, you know what, I'm going to do whatever is required for me to get a gun and protect my family. And it may be difficult because the government, the way that they're setting up this CCW classes, I definitely believe that is a gun control measure that they're creating. Believe it or not, the fact that it requires, like, instant, myself, it took me like $150 to get a CCW. My wife, $150. So you're looking like almost $300 to get permits. That is a control policy that they're putting out there because some people don't have that money. You don't have the money to pay $350 in a gun and then $150 in the permit. But you guys got to save because we just cannot allow people to come and kill us and take and you know, and kill our family. And somebody was saying at the beginning that they hate how the media make us look like victims, and I hate that. Like, the American people are more than qualified to defend themselves. Like, we are not victims. We need to take a stand and be like, you know what, buddy? You cannot find a girlfriend and you think you're going to kill me? Maybe not. I would not allow you to kill me and kill my family. But some people out there, they just like, you know, they don't care. They just don't care. I get so many questions, bro. Like, I get questions like, why do I carry a gun? Like, my wife goes out and I say, you have your gun? You have your cell phone? And I get questions like, are you weird or something? Like I'm a radical or something. Like how dare you carry a gun? Because it's my right, and I want to exercise my right, and that's what we've been preaching to people.
Just punch your computer. I know you want to do it. Just do it.
Well, it's not even about the right aspect of it, though, Jarhead. I mean, it's more of the fact is that why not? You know, it's like people say, why do you feel like you need to prep? Are you really expecting something bad to happen? I go, well, my question to you is, why don't you prep? Like, really?
Exactly.
What?
Exactly.
Well,
you know what? They
out?
depend, brother. They depending. They depending on the government. It's just like welfare. They're depending on that check. Like why would I do this when the government's gonna do this for me? But the reality is that they're probably gonna die. Because if something really happened, it would take FEMA to show up to your state like 2-3 weeks, and we saw that in the past. So what are you going to do for those 2-3 weeks? Like, people think, I need to prep for 2 years, and I need to have like 6,000 guns and 6,000 rounds. No, man. All you need to do is have enough for at least, I'm just saying the basic, at least a couple of months. So you can hold yourself. So when Ferguson, like it happened in Ferguson, so when that starts, you could be at your house with your gun and your food, and you could protect yourself. And like you said, look, why not? You know, if you spend money in stupid stuff every day, why not? You know what I'm saying? You know, instead of waiting for the new iPhone 6, why you don't get a bunch of buckets and fill it with rice? Why not? And if you do it, you know, you may be considered a radical.
Look, the reality is that people up here, for instance, we have seatbelt laws, okay? So you have to wear a seatbelt because it's the law. But I would suggest to people that if you thought there was a probability of you going through the windshield in a car collision, a head-on collision, doing, 75 miles an hour down one of your interstates, and you thought the seatbelt gave you a higher probability of surviving that crash, right? Or at least coming out, maybe not going through the windshield, would you not do it? It'd be like the same thing saying, but it's never happened to me. It won't happen to me. I mean, I've never been in a crash where I would have went through the windshield. Probability is so small that why would I do it? Why would I wear the seatbelt? Why would I? I say to people, yeah, you know what? Well, you're the type of people too that you go out there basically. You're that guy who bought your brand new car and deactivated the airbag in the front seat, didn't you? No. Why would I do that? It was put there to save my life. Well, I rest my case then.
On a total random left field note, I found out cars now have airbag seat belts now. I'm just throwing out there. I remember riding in cars that didn't have seat belts, and now we have airbag seat belts that they inflate on your body during a car wreck.
Yeah,
that was kind of amazing.
I think I heard something about that. I passed over.
I remember when gas was 99 cents a gallon.
Yeah. Hey, you remember that? Wasn't that cool?
Yeah.
I remember when that was expensive.
Yeah. I called it back in 2007, I think, when the gas went to $1.25 a liter up here, and everybody was in shock. It was all over the media. It was like a huge, huge hike. It was like a 40-cent hike. It was like 88 cents, I think, at the time. It went to $1.25. And I said, you wait. I mark my words. This is just something to try to take the shock and awe out of it. We will be paying those prices in a few years. And it only took about 4 years before we seen $1. And I went, well, there you go. So, same thing. Jesus.
Yeah. I tell you what, man. This thing about schools, it kind of scares me because I got children, but two is like to go back in this topic. How do we deal with this? And I got to tell you, man. A couple of weeks ago, we had a situation here in my town where they had to lock down the school, and it was pretty scary. But like, we have to teach our children what to do and how to do it. Like, we have to be able to teach our children, and that's what a lot of people are doing. A lot of people depend on others to do things for you. Like don't depend on anyone. Be you. Have your own plan, and this has to do with anything. Have your own home defense plan. It may suck, it may not be good, but at least you have a plan. You can continue to improve your plan. Have your own self-protection plan. Like it kills me, people. The cops are not going to be there when you need to. Trust me, I work as a cop. They're not going to be there. And there's so many cops here on YouTube that will tell you that they are not going to be there when the crime happened 99.9% of the time. They're just not going to be there. So carry a gun. Teach your children. Have situational awareness. If that place is a gun-free zone, try not to go there. And I say try because, sometimes I got to go to the base. And the Marine Corps base is a gun-free zone, and I don't have a choice. But if that is your case, carry a folding knife. Carry something. Have situational awareness. If you see a bunch of guys in a parking lot that they don't look the right way, go to a different place. Park in a different area.
Oh, yeah.
People are way too busy, man. Way too busy with Facebook. Way too busy. That's what I got to say about that.
No, but that's a really valid point. Situational awareness and avoiding a problem. That's a big thing right there. That's what I fear a lot of people. They get the gun and they think, okay, now I don't have to avoid the problem. No. The gun is still the absolute last resort. It might still be a reaction that needs to happen in a split second. It's still, regardless, that's still the last resort. It's the last thing you want to do is start having to throw lead at each other.
Yeah. A lot of guys are doing homeschooling. I see comments here. If I could do that, I would do that. That's not a bad idea at all. Protect your children. I tell you what, Obama's children are protected. like way protected. Like they have like former military like crazy dude ninjas that could do like a combat flip and have like 6 guns to protect them. Our children are not protected.
I would say purposely driven by laws are unprotected. It's just God. It just amazes me. Like the guy that jumped, the 2 guys that jumped the fence and tried to make it to the White House. The one guy that got in the White House with what, a knife or something? Wasn't that already banned? Didn't he see the sign out front of the White House that says no trespassing? You know, it's just more laws don't solve anything.
Stacking laws.
Laws is only a start.
Yeah, stacking
I
laws.
legitimately laugh at that, bro. Like when I saw that in the news, I legitimately laughed. Like you guys are gonna make a big deal about the White House. Some guy went inside there when our borders are unprotected. Like, are you serious? Like, like that is news. Like that. Oh Lord, a guy jumped the fence and like seriously, when our borders are unprotected, like people could just walk through, you know, through there. And there's so many terrorist groups down in Peru, Colombia, Venezuela, full of terrorist groups that have connections, and they know this, have connection with other terrorist groups up there, you know, in the Pakistan and Afghani area. Like these people actually do, you know, in the military, you may go into different countries to train and learn their tactics. I mean, that's just something that they do in the military. These people do the same thing. They send terrorist groups and terrorists from one country to another country to train. So they could easily go into Colombia and they could easily infiltrate our borders. And you're going to make a big deal about the White House? Come on, man. You know, if you want to start protecting something, start by protecting the borders and then go into the White House.
Here's something.
That's funny, man.
I haven't seen it. James O'Keefe from Project Veritas, which is a fantastic organization. He actually dressed up as Osama bin Laden it was like 1 or 2 months ago, and literally crossed the border and came back, dressed up in full garb and mask as Osama bin Laden, and never got stopped. So people that say the border is secure, if you can dress up like Osama bin Laden and cross and nobody's there to stop you, I think that answers the question. But you can go watch out the video. It's sadly hilarious. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Well, but then you know what? Sometimes I feel bad for that officer, because if we would have asked for an ID card or something, they would have been like, oh wow, you violating his rights, you know, because you profile him or something. I didn't profile anybody, but it is what it is. How dare you ask for an ID card to that guy? You're profiling a poor guy. I don't know, man. Either way that you do something, it's gonna be looked bad by someone. I guess that's the point of that. You know?
I feel bad for everybody on the border, because I know that they're undermanned, they're underfunded, some of them aren't even allowed to carry firearms. You know, they're put in a really bad spot.
Changes, brother. Changes got to be made. Let's see.
Oh, here's an idea. Maybe just pull all the troops back and guard our own borders.
Yeah.
Moving up to 100 miles off the shores. Just you know what? Wait for the problem to come to our doorstep.
Well, we used to do that back in I don't remember when, but I know when I initially got into the Marine Corps in 2002. I spoke with a lot of guys that actually came from down there and actually were doing those things. So I know at one point Marines went down there and guard the borders, but we are too busy saving everyone, man, and coming out with plans that don't work. Like you got this airstrikes down in Syria that every generals told the president that it was not gonna work, and we still did it. You know, it's like, you're not listening, brother. Like, you need to listen to what people are telling you. And now we find ourselves spending millions and millions and millions of dollars in airstrike, because if you think those missiles are now millions of dollars, you run. Those missiles cost millions of dollars. And what are we getting accomplished? I want to know what we got accomplished so far, because ISIS took over 80% of Anbar, province Anbar in Iraq already. So apparently we're not accomplished anything. And we're spending millions of dollars in airstrikes. The media is pretty quiet about that. We haven't heard anything. You know what I'm saying? But
they like to jump to what's hot for you know, whatever get ratings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, CNN needs all the help they can get for ratings. And by the way, totally random subject, but has anybody heard anything on the airplane that disappeared? I remember that's all CNN talked about for days and days and days, and nothing. I was just curious if anyone's heard anything on that at all.
Last time I heard, they started a new search in a different place altogether, and I heard nothing else after that.
It's not news anymore, man. That's gone, dude. It's not news. So,
it's repainted.
You guys got it.
They're getting they're getting the explosive sucker ready in the bow of it, ready to put that sucker over and explode it right over top of the city, and put that electronic pulse right down and cause a complete blackout. It's sitting there in a hangar somewhere, ready to roll. That's where that plane went.
Well, that goes back to being now being proactive, like you were talking about. Just reacted to a situation. That's what we're gonna do. They're gonna react to whatever situation comes around.
Oh man, look. The government knows everything that goes on. They can listen to everything that's happening. If they can't find a plane, baloney. Baloney. You tell me that they don't have this, and they got people with jobs to figure this stuff out. That's all they do. They know everything that's happening in the world. What happens is allowed to happen. I mean, I believe that. I really do. As sad as it sounds, but I believe they let all this bad stuff happen because it's part of a bigger picture. We just don't have it all in full view yet. I guarantee you, it ain't good for us. Man.
Very true.
They'll say, well, that's conspiracy theory, but I don't know about that.
I don't know. I might be on the pro EMP side. I might be all for it. I got to be honest.
Oh no, I kind of like hydro, dude.
I don't know about your patch stick. You offended me.
It's okay. I offended a lot of people. On a podcast a couple episodes ago, I was on the pro Ebola team. So.
That goes back to the American flag. Like, people think you got an American flag, you must be a radical. I heard that. I talked about that in the past. Like, really, dude? Like, because you have an American flag in your hat, you must be a radical? That's what it comes down to? You know what I'm saying? Just ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. So,
my patch game is a one-up on you, bro. I totally took your red flag and said, you know what, I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna be more of an operator than Jarhead 6.
Yeah, that video about a message to an operator, that's kicking out there, man. Again, and again, like, we need to stop making fun of people, like, and that's what I was trying to get across. Like, don't make fun of people, man. Some people don't have the money to buy, a Glock. So we need to encourage people to be able to defend themselves. And if the only thing you could afford is a high point, that's what you can afford, man. And yeah, I mean, I prefer my Glock 17 versus a high point anytime. But you know what? If something happened, and the only thing that I got is a high point, trust me, that's the best gun right there, because that's the one that I have. So I just don't like these people making fun of other guys because they don't have, a P226, a SIG, or a 1911 with a cool freaking scope. Come on, guys. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. You know what? You're not an operator. Just because you took a fighting class, a pistol fighting class or something, you're not better than anybody else. Encourage people to carry a gun, and don't make fun of people. Like, how are we supposed to win this? How are we supposed to win this war and be united when we're making fun of people. You know what I'm saying? That's just my point right there.
The only people that should be made fun of are people that carry cars caliber 45s. That's it.
I don't even know where my car is. I think it must be in the safe right now.
Should be in the
Yeah, I love that car. I'm becoming a car fanboy, so
you're becoming
you gotta watch out. More cars to the channel.
I called it on your first video. Banter is witness to this now.
Yep.
In 2 months, he's going to come out and say, I was wrong. I should have had a 45 in Iraq. 45 is the greatest thing ever. I'm going to go out and buy 1911s now. It's totally going to happen in a couple months. I can feel it.
Oh no, I'm been looking at the Ruger 1911 Commander, the Commander side. And it's $700, man. I just don't have the money to get it. But if I had the money, I would buy it by now.
Yep.
I got to start prepping, man. I got to stop buying guns and spending more money on prep. I'm getting into too many guns, and I think I need.
I think he froze up there.
He did. He'll come back in a second. He usually does.
So Banter, what's up with you, man?
No, not much, man. No, I mean, on a side note, I don't know. I've been busy the last couple of days because I actually got a couple of contracts in basically as a result of what happened in Ottawa. Rewriting some security and policy procedure manuals and stuff for some companies. So got lower end scale stuff, mind you, but still they felt the need. Due diligence anyway. Oh, Jarhead's back. Go ahead, sir.
Hey,
you were saying something
you guys lost me?
Yeah.
Sorry, man. I don't even know what I said last, man. Go ahead. Say whatever you were saying, bro.
No, something about Glocks being really great and cars were kind of falling out with you or something like that. I can't remember.
No, I was just saying that, get whatever gun you can get. Just carry whatever gun you can carry. And then save
you're right.
Up for a better gun.
All right, here's the question. Jarhead, your opinion, I'm going to go over to Nick here in a second. On a probability list, how many meters do you think you're going to be away from somebody in an active shooting scenario if you had to protect your life? What do you think the distance is going to be? Most probably.
You talking about engagement?
Yeah, engagement. You have to engage somebody. What's the proximity?
It's going to be It's probably going to be very close. It's probably going to be very,
5
very
meters?
close.
10 meters?
Yeah. 3 to. I would say 3 to 7 around there. It's going to be very, very close.
Exactly. What does it matter? I mean, what does it matter really? Really, what kind of gun you have? If you can throw something back at the individual, something back down range at them, okay? And it's not even really down range. It's a spit across the way. At least you got something to throw back at them, to keep it fair, What does it matter what the hell the title is on the gun or caliber even? You can access it.
We go back to training, man, training. When people are shooting back at you, it's totally different than shooting at a target. You may be like freaking commando ninja shooting at 1,000 yards out of paper, but I'm telling you right now, when somebody's shooting back at you, it's totally different.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I'm gonna quote Mike Lamb here, I'm gonna quote him from when he was on the show, episode, I don't know, 38 or 40 or something in there. So for those who don't know who he is, he was Magpul Dynamics when Costa, Haley, Fisher, when everybody was there. He was kind of the behind-the-scenes military guy. Delta Force, Force Recon, the big bad Black Ops dude. The dude is ripped. And he does firearms instruction now because he got injured in the Marines. He says, if you take one of the classes, I'm not going to teach you tactics. He said, I'm going to teach you weapons manipulation and accuracy. He said, I cannot teach you tactics or how to be an operator when somebody's not shooting back at you. Can't be done. So for those out there that are saying that they're an operator, know how to do stuff or whatever, if you've never been shot at and shot rounds back,
Yeah.
A fighting pistol class.
And you know what? At one point,
look, the reality is you need to be able to
can you guys hear me?
access your weapon, have the judgment to know when to access the weapon, when to engage with the weapon, how to clear the weapon if it jams, if you're working with a semi, okay? Because as Jarhead6 has said on previous videos, and I'm sure everybody's watched them all, to understand the revolver, you don't have a lot to deal with there, okay? Click, 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 bang, bang, bang. But again, if you don't know how to clear a jam, again, the other thing is judgment, Are you looking for cover? Do you have situational awareness about you? Do you understand the idea of concealment and cover? These are the little things that I would want to spend all my money and time on, rather than figuring out whether or not I have a Chrome 1911 or whatever the case may be. That's just a stupid argument as far as I'm concerned. What do you care? What do you carry? Hey, when we have the debates, we talk about it. It's a great topic, no doubt about it. When it comes down to somebody going, oh, look at you, man, you got this here, blah, 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 you ain't going to be able to do shit in a freaking situation. It's not about what you're carrying. It's about how you use it, how you engage with it, and how much time you spent with that sidearm. That's what's going to make the difference. Because just as Nick said, it is so much different when it becomes active. And this is a real-life scenario. It happens fast, real fast, really fast. So, man, everything's a blur. It really is.
Hey, can you guys hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah, where do you keep going? What's happening?
Yeah, sorry, man. I don't know. The internet is like, NSA doesn't want me to speak tonight. That's what it is. So.
Jesus, I live on an island.
But,
I live on an island. I'm having better reception than you.
Dude, I live in the country, man. Like, you don't even have phone reception all here. But I was gonna say too, training sometimes, in situational awareness.
Luke, maybe you can share your internet with him.
No, I can't. I have to share mine with my neighbors as it is. Like I said, I live on an island. He's not having a good run with that tonight.
No. Google is racist. He's said it many times. Welcome back.
Man, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay,
Man,
ladies and
these
gentlemen,
people
I want to
want
welcome
to speak,
JH6 to the panel.
What I was gonna say, hopefully I said it this time, is that situational awareness, and we talk about that, but I give you an example. 2004, we hit a car bomb, and the truck that got hit, which was, I think it was like 2 trucks in front of my truck. That truck had 7 Marines, each one had a rifle, some of them had pistols, had 3 machine guns, to include 2 240 Golf and one 50 cal. I think it was a 50 cal Mar 19. I can't remember exactly which one it was. But again, 7 rifles, 3 machine guns, and they still got hit. And sometimes that's just gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? But in that situation, I don't know if it was situational awareness, what it was, but at one point something may happen, and you're gonna have to react to that situation, if that makes any sense. So,
yeah.
Can you hear me, Nick?
Yep.
So, all right. Good. Finally, I was able to say that. So, all right. We got just real quick. I appreciate all you guys watching tonight. I think we have discussed a lot of good points, and I appreciate you guys' feedback. Obviously, some guys agree with me, some guys don't agree with me, but that's exactly what we're trying to accomplish. Like, we may not be able to agree in some aspects, but we do agree in freedom. We do agree on being able to speak and things like that. That's exactly what I'm going with it. If that make any sense.
Yep.
Probably lost like 20 subscribers. How many subscribers you lost, Nick?
Let's go look here.
You always lose like 5 every time you hang around with me.
I've gained 2.
I
Oh
gained
man,
5.
that's the first time. That's the first time, man. I'm
Gained
telling
5. Neat.
you. Oh man, every time Nick hangs around with me, he looks like pie. It's hilarious.
Guilty by association.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I've said it before on the show, I'd rather lose subscribers for telling the truth than gaining subscribers for feeding everybody bullcrap.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
And you know, we talked about this in the past. Don't pretend. Like when we tell you, prep, or when we tell you, carry a gun, or when we speak about that, this is not pretending. This is the way of life. This is what we do. You see a lot of channels out there that are pretending to be this. I know for a fact that General Banter, Nick, and myself, when we speak, this is who we are. We're not going home and then be like, okay, I'm not gonna carry my gun now because no, that's what we do. And that's what I'm saying. You got to make this your way of life. That's what you do. Like I carry a gun just like I carry my wallet. Make it a way of life, not just make it like one thing that you do on the weekends or one thing that you do, one day. And I understand that you may not be able to carry a gun at work, but you know what? When you come from work, carry a gun. Like the Daily Shooter. The Daily Shooter lives in a communist state in California, but he carries his gun at his house. That's what he does. That's his way of life. Make it your way of life. Don't make it a hobby. Make it a way of life. I don't know if that's what I'm going with that one, but
no, that's exactly well said too. It needs to be that. It'll come a lot more natural too because it's a way of life and not just something that it's like an emergency plan of any sort, whether it's your fire plan in the home, an escape route, whether it's your escape route out of your city or whatever the case is. Look at it, revisit it often, once a month if you have to. Your preps and such. Make it part of your life, and then it won't seem like such a chore either. Then again, it'll always be the forefront of your mind. Kind of like what I say to people: stop, watch, learn, listen. And then once you've done that, of course, gather the resources, go out there and actually practice with that. Create your own thing, because what works for Jarhead 6 might not work for General Banter. But I'm gonna maybe take a little bit of what he says and bring it into my toolbox, and maybe vice versa. And we learn from each other, and then we make it our own. We have our plan. We go out there and practice it. Once we've mastered it, we go out and teach it, talk about it, create dialogue, keep it to the forefront of your mind. And then, like I said, that way of life, it's it's a good thing to do, no doubt about it. Absolutely.
I'm gonna hit on one thing here, then I'll let you talk there, Jake. So, again, another shameless plug. The episode 49 with Jeff from Arm Dynamics, who, by the way, is another fantastic YouTube channel. But it releases on podcast tomorrow. But we kind of do a year recap because we had the 1 year anniversary of the show like 9 days ago. And I talked about what it's been like for me, like the past year of carrying a gun every day. And I am far more confident in my life, not because I carry a gun everywhere, but because I'm more informed, because I am far more aware of my surroundings. I'm more confident in myself because I've learned more. I have, far more information at hand and readily available that, again, this does not make me a confident person. What I've learned makes me a far more confident person. I think that's there's so many other great benefits instead of just having a gun. It's making better decisions. Again, being more situationally aware, just more aware of your surroundings, and period, helps out so much too. I am a far more confident person of handling any sort of situation, not necessarily a bad situation, handling any sort of situation than I was a year ago. And I think it's had a profound effect on not only my life, but my family's life, and just general well-being and happiness in life.
Absolutely. Being a bouncer, being a doorman for 8 years of my life, I had learned so much about situational awareness in that job because we didn't carry weapons. You know what I mean? And it's a busy, busy place. You're dealing with drunk people, which is right up there equal with people with mental instability. So, to me, man, you had to depend on that. Look, the hands are huge. You watch the hands, because the hands is what's going to kill you. You see people walking towards you, and you look at the body language, read people. You know, that's the stuff that I look for, and I do it even today. If I was standing here talking to JH6 and we were standing there, and of course I trust the man, no problem. But if he put his hands in his pockets, I would notice it. I would notice it right away. Why? Man, that's just a reaction with me. It's something that I've trained myself to do. Even though I know he's not going to be a threat to me. You know, that's it. Even if my brother did it, I would notice it. Instantly, I would just notice that he put his hand in his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
No, not because he's got it in the pocket and be a threat. No, it's just something I notice because that's what I trained myself to notice. So that's it. Absolutely.
All right, guys. What do you guys got going on? Anything? We're going at it for like what, 2 hours? You guys got anything going on in your channels? Nick, you got anything going on? You there, Nick? Am I there?
I'm here. Banter can go first.
Yeah, I got
really, anything going on?
No, nothing really. I mean, I'm putting out, some videos here and there. Like I said, I'm kind of busy lately, and it's so busy at times I don't even have a chance to watch everybody's, uploads and such, which has been kind of depressing because I really enjoy that. But it's not because I've been sitting watching TV. I can guarantee you that. So yeah, but I haven't got a lot going on. Just doing the odd chat when I can, and just getting out and just making some network and just getting in there talking. So not a lot. So, but thanks for the invite tonight, buddy. I really appreciate that. Nice sitting in with you guys. So.
Yeah. Always a pleasure.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you coming, and that's one of
the.
Poor fella.
Poor guy.
I know. I know we're live and everything, but when he comes back, we should just sit there and be real quiet and still.
Okay. Might be too long to do that.
Might be. She's probably watching the outside feed, so he knows better.
Man, he can do it.
Yeah, he gets picked on with this freaking terrible. My God, his internet hates him.
Oh, he's back. Look at that.
There he is.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Let's try to do this. I was just saying that there's so much great channels out there, so much information that like you always said in your videos, never stop learning. Like you could learn so much information. You never know when you're gonna utilize that information. So like I said, be open-minded, collect that information and apply it to your life, or don't apply that information. It may be something that you don't even care. So put it to the side. Just utilize whatever information is needed to your lifestyle.
Yeah.
But what about you, Nick? You always got stuff going on. What do you got going on?
Well, for everybody that follows us on Facebook, we'll be doing a big giveaway for our 1 year. Because next Sunday we'll release our 50th anniversary or 50th episode. But right now, video-wise, I'm kind of just putting out some videos from my recent vehicular accident and stuff that I've learned from that. So I should be posting up another video probably tomorrow on that, talking about one-handed weapons manipulations and why that kind of played a role in after my vehicle accident. So just kind of do some stuff like that, stuff that I've learned obviously from my big mistake I made. So
wow,
it's funny because I put him. Yeah, he totaled his car.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I put an ADC video saying that I was missing a flashlight, and then you put a video saying the most important thing on your ADC is a flashlight, and I was like, come on, man. I thought you were calling me out on that one.
I had that already uploaded, just not released yet. So I figured that was the perfect time.
Yeah, I thought you were calling me out. I'm like, man.
I kind of was, because I already had the video done. I just hadn't released it yet.
Yeah. But all right, and I mean, pretty much, I got a bunch of videos coming up. I already got like 3-4 videos out. ready to go, and I've been putting the videos out 7 o'clock Eastern time. So any video that I release is going to be at that time, because that's the best time that it works. More people are in YouTube watching videos. So I kind of came around to the conclusion that 7 o'clock works good. I definitely appreciate all you guys watching. Got a lot of good comments. I got a lot of comments that didn't make sense to me, but I got some good ones, and that's exactly what we were talking about. Being able to communicate, being able to pass information. I mean, that's just critical, to be able to talk to each other and learn from each other. So I definitely appreciate you guys watching, and I don't know when I'm going to do a next one, but whenever I do the next one, of course, you can see it. Be subscribed to the channel so you can see whatever I'm doing. And can you guys still hear me? Or I'm lost again. I'm still here?
Yep, you're there.
All right, let's just finish this. I appreciate you guys watching. God is in control.